It's the toastiest part of summer. July's avalanche of games is over, and we enter August with less games in total, but a whole bunch to look forward to nonetheless. For the first half of the month, we have 33 games incoming with 10 PC demos, 6 early access games, 1 Xbox demo, and at least 2 games coming to Game Pass. Before we dive in, I want to remind you to follow FutureDubs on Twitter. Make sure you're on top of any changes and additions to the release calendar. Also, this last month, I started streaming on YouTube on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm focusing primarily on select games from the FutureDubs list. If you're interested, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and feel free to stop by when you see me go live. With that out of the way, let's dive into the first half of August. An interactive hostage thriller/social drama, an art curator is held hostage by a portraitist who threatens to detonate a bomb unless their demands are met. The gallery contains 2 narratives, set in 1981 with a female protagonist, and 2021 with a male protagonist. Now, live-action video games have been popping up on a regular basis for the last little bit. We've covered a couple in just the last couple of months. The gallery looks to be an exciting experience, offering up 150 different decision paths and 18 endings, so each playthrough should offer something different. The gallery comes to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on August 1st. You're a mortuary apprentice and have worked alongside the mortician to learn how to properly handle and care for the deceased. When stories circulate about certain bodies having been possessed at the time of death, it is chalked up as a reaction to the stigma of death and the afterlife. But what if there's more to it than that? I'm intrigued by what I see from the trailer. It's not going to knock your socks off from a visual standpoint, but it seems deeply unsettling. I get the vibe that it's going to play like a simulator, but it's going to add horror elements to it, which I find pretty interesting. The Mortuary Assistant comes to PC on August 2nd and has a demo available now. Frogun is a classical retro-styled platforming game in which your grappling gun is a frog and your friend. Explore 5 zones with secrets and treasures, solve puzzles, and save Renata's parents from certain doom. Frogun looks like a simple, bright, colorful platformer that manages to look really good. I typically have problems with modern games going back and adopting the old PS1 era art style, but Frogun pulls it off nicely. Anyone looking for a relaxing adventure with some light puzzling should keep their eyes on Frogun when it comes to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC on August 2nd. Feel the burden of life choices between career, true love, and the desire to keep our promises. You play Peter, an academic whose life is thrown into turmoil by the Cold War while he grapples with his childhood memories. First off, this feels like an Annapurna joint, which should be taken as a massive compliment. We've got a thrilling narrative, big-name actors from Bohemian Rhapsody and Game of Thrones, and an aesthetic that really fits the narrative adventure game mold of late. Discover the story and intrigue of South of the Circle when it comes to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC on August 3rd. Afterwave Downfall is an arcade shooter where the player battles against monsters and completes various missions with a cool battleship. Deathrix invaded the world and released a mysterious meteorite causing a great flood. Players can upgrade their ship for better performance to fight the most brutal enemies. Afterwave throws 10 stages at you, allows you to upgrade the 6 different battleships, and lets you play local co-op. This reminds me of the old shoot-em-ups from back in the day, but instead of space, you're seemingly traveling down a river. The gameplay looks fun for those who have an interest in the genre. Afterwave Downfall comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and Switch on August 3rd. Cook and serve your dishes, design and decorate your restaurants, and expand your culinary kingdom with new unlocks, abilities, and dishes in each procedurally generated location. Classic cooking action with permanent progression. Hire your friends or do it all yourself. It's difficult not to draw direct comparisons to the Overcooked games, but sprinkle in some upgrades and add a dash of RPG elements, and PlateUp looks to build upon a foundation that was already very popular. PlateUp comes to PC on August 4th and has a demo available now. Enter a realm that blends ancient mythology with traditional Chinese aesthetics in Sword and Fairy Together Forever, the latest mainline entry in the nearly 27-year-old RPG franchise. Sword and Fairy Together Forever not only features the most advanced graphics in series history, but it also introduces dynamic real-time combat mechanics with total freedom of movement and fluid screen-filling skill animations. This series has been around for a long time, but it originated in China, and only the last couple installments have been available to Western audiences. It looks gorgeous, the combat seems smooth, and it feels like this could be a surprise hit. Sword and Fairy Together Forever comes to PS4 and PS5 on August 4th. The main character, Nikolai, is a son of two engineers who emigrated to Japan from the Soviet Union when he was a child. After his parents' tragic death in a production incident, he has been living alone, attending a local school for foreigners and children from wealthy families. One day he gets caught in a whirlwind of events, intrigues, political schemes, and complex human relationships. This visual novel serves up a story of love, intrigue, music, betrayal, and self-sacrifice for four heroines, and ultimately leads to multiple endings. Love, Money, Rock and Roll comes to PC on August 4th with a demo available now. Ride a flying vehicle and restore the breeze around the world in a fantasy RPG. The Tetra Quartzes, which are the source of all life, have become sullied, and there is a growing sense of foreboding across the world. Shan, a young boy from the Citizens of the Winds, sets off on an adventure to purify the sullied Tetra Quartzes and save his childhood friend. Kemco publishes tons of games designed to capture that old-school feel and aesthetic. I can't fault them for that, and admittedly almost every game they release piques my interest for at least a moment. Here's hoping Gale of Windoria is a proper 16-bit throwback JRPG, and I guess we'll find out on August 4th when it comes to the Xboxes and PC. A supernatural journey to the dark heart of the West. With a gun full of lead and a fistful of witchcraft, raise an outlaw posse and chase down the devil to take back what's yours. XCOM meets the Wild West in this sequel to the 2015 release. You play as Jin Carter, and after tracking down a score of a lifetime, you find that you end up losing more than you bargained for when the devil steals your soul. There seems to be a lot of unique abilities and characters in this turn-based tactical RPG. If you love XCOM, but could use a change of scenery, it seems like Hard West 2 could be right up your alley. Hard West 2 comes to PC on August 4th. The year is 3600 CE. Centuries of war, socioeconomic disaster, and climate catastrophe had pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. The Earth has now healed, and nature is flourishing. In the aftermath, a new society is formed with a new reverence and relationship with nature. You will explore, forage, hunt, fish, craft, base build, and meditate as you complete your rite of passage into adulthood. Now this feels like a slightly different take on the survival genre. One of the main components of gameplay that is emphasized relates to meditation. I'm not sure how that's going to factor in, but we'll find out on August 5th when Retreat to Enen comes to PC. For centuries, human technology and culture ruled the surface, yet the deeper secrets of the Earth lay hidden from our eyes. Until one day, the discovery of a new form of energy called forth the ancient terrors unknown to mankind. Thus began the rise of monsters around the world. Their battle against us and their own kind raged throughout the world, leaving only destruction in their wake. This 3D kaiju fighting game looks like a destructive good time. Smashing cities as towering monsters will likely never be a boring experience. So if you'd like to wreck the world, jump into GigaBash when it comes to PS4, PS5, and PC on August 5th. Challenge the dread Tyrant's undead army in this tactical turn-based fantasy game. Salvage weapons, equipment, and supplies from your fallen enemies, build your team of heroes, and reclaim your homeland. Since finishing Triangle Strategy, my first strategy RPG in like 20 years, I've found myself with a renewed interest in the genre. Tyrant's Blessing has gorgeous pixel art, 20 heroes, and different biomes. It takes cues from Into the Breach and Invisible Ink, and it looks like a genuinely great time. Tyrant's Blessing comes to Switch and PC on August 8th. Build and control your own university with new creative tools to help you build a unique and distinct educational masterpiece where you nurture your students through the best years of their lives. Make sure they have everything they need to work hard and play hard. 2 Point Campus is a deep and engaging management sim and the follow-up to 2 Point Hospital. Fans of the management genre should have this on their radar. I personally have such ill feelings toward the idea of college in the United States that I would feel dirty the whole time I played, but that's clearly a me issue. 2 Point Campus comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Switch, and PC on August 9th. Timothy and the Tower of Mu is the second episode from the Timothy series by Kibu Entertainment. Mixing elements from old school games and new ideas, the game is going to challenge even the most proficient platform lover with puzzles, action, a curious lore, and RPG elements. I'm really intrigued by this game. I've never heard of the first one, but I've found myself more interested in the hardcore platformers of late. I may consider going back to revisit the first game after seeing this trailer. Timothy and the Tower of Mu comes to PC on August 9th. Go on a feel-good adventure with a brother and sister as they explore dreamscapes and befriend magical creatures. Lost in their imagination, Toto and Gal must stick together and solve puzzles to journey back home. This looks so whimsical and fun. Visually, it reminds me of Adventure Time meets Disenchanted, and it plays like a point-and-click adventure game. The humor seems on point, and it looks like it'll do a good job of replicating Saturday morning cartoon vibes. Lost in Play comes to PC on August 10th with a Switch release planned for the future. Take on the role of a young man who witnesses the theft of his family's magic book, which leads to a visit by his grandfather's ghost compelling him to embark on a dangerous journey to retrieve it. Explore the surrounding environments, gather information, equip new weapons and armor, track down the culprits who stole the magic book, and discover the truth behind it all. This top-down action RPG showcases some good-looking pixel art and some varied environments. It'll all boil down to how the combat and puzzles come together. We'll find out for sure on August 10th when Book Quest comes to PC. Start your own cult in a land of false prophets, venturing out into diverse and mysterious regions to build a loyal community of woodland worshippers and spread your word to become the one true cult. Bringing together action RPG elements, roguelike elements, and a little city building, Cult of the Lamb is another very unique offering coming from Devolver. Devolver doesn't miss much in my eyes, and this is just another instance of an upcoming release of theirs that I can't wait to dive into. Cult of the Lamb comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Switch, and PC on August 11th. Take over the family's laundromat and transform the business into an arcade. Manage and invest profits and stay one step ahead of your father as you develop your own personal arcade paradise. This management sim game has a unique twist. The goal isn't to run the laundromat, but instead to slowly evolve the business into the greatest arcade in town. Add to that the idea that you can play the games in the arcade, there are more than 35, and each has its own gameplay, stories, missions, and high scores covering 3 decades of gaming. Arcade Paradise comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Switch, and PC on August 11th. Welcome to Grappital City. This city was built to celebrate the glorious traditions of melee combat, and you're invited. Create a unique champion. Get shot out of a cannon. Smash crates to find upgrades. Pick a fight and battle to the last. The Battle Royale genre feels like it's starting to fizzle out a bit, at least in my opinion. But that being said, new and interesting ways to keep the genre fresh are always welcome. Rumbleverse looks to do that very thing as they move away from guns and ranged combat and instead focus entirely on melee combat. The free-to-play aspect should also add legs to the game when it drops on August 11th for the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Switch, and PC. A real-time tactical bullet hell RPG with grid-based combat and a deep story that adapts to your choices. Build and upgrade your squad, conquer the grid in fast-paced, real-time combat, and guide Donna through the world of Gora on her quest to take down the goddesses and save the future. It's not too often where the terms fast and frantic tie into a tactical RPG, but based on the trailer, I think that's a fitting description. The combat seems very go, 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 and if the story holds up, I can see there being a lot of interest in this game. Grid Force, Mask of the Goddess comes to the Xboxes, Switch, and PC on August 11th. A one-of-a-kind strategy deck builder inspired by your favorite gacha games. Filled with a wild bunch of cute, colorful, and unique characters called bullets, the world has been corrupted by rogue AI, so it's up to you to save the day in strategic turn-based battles. Choosing your paths each run is reminiscent of Slay the Spire, and the combat looks more akin to Pokemon. The gacha element will basically never be interesting to me, but if the gameplay holds up, this is one that could tickle the fancy of roguelite RPG fans. Super Bullet Break comes to the PS4, Switch, and PC on August 12th. Become an operator of the central monitoring system and try to keep the peace. Use a city map to track dangerous areas and don't let the suspects get away. You'll have to juggle multiple events to make sure you're staying on top of things. It's an interesting job to say the least. Outside of moving the camera, I'm not sure what else the gameplay entails. From the trailer though, I haven't seen a city this sketchy since San Andreas. City Eye comes to PC on August 12th. Find yourself in a mysterious story of the Key of Skylight. Choose your side, customize your character, and enjoy this free-to-play MMORPG when it comes to Steam Early Access on August 2nd. The third installment in the Gunvolt series has you playing as Gunvolt and Kieran, who is new to the series. As your striker, Gunvolt 3 comes to the Xboxes on August 2nd. At first glance, I get Returnal meets Remnant from the Ashes with a bit more body horror. I'm digging what I see, and I'm looking forward to seeing more when Earth Shadow comes to Steam Early Access on August 3rd. Turbo Golf Racing is an arcade-style sports racing game for up to 8 players online. Without having tried it, I get Rocket League golf vibes, and I think that sounds fantastic. Turbo Golf Racing comes to Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC in Early Access on August 4th, and will also be coming to Game Preview on Game Pass. Build and manage a struggling summer camp year after year to restore it to its former glory by introducing new camper activities like fishing, archery, and more, while protecting them from dangers both natural and supernatural. Camp Canyonwood comes to Steam Early Access on August 4th. American Truck Simulator continues to roll out content, and on August 4th, the wild, untamed gateway to Glacier and Yellowstone National Parks makes its way to the driving simulator, Montana. Protect and guide your people as you forge a town from untamed wilderness at the edge of the known world. Harvest raw materials, hunt, fish, and farm to survive when Farthest Frontier comes to Steam Early Access on August 9th. The PlayStation hit comes to Steam. Fight crime and iconic villains in Marvel's take on New York. Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered comes to PC on August 12th. There you have it. The first half of August dials things back a bit compared to July's offerings, but like I said, there's still tons to check out. Stay on top of any updates by following the FutureDubs Twitter, and come introduce yourself during a live stream either here or on Twitch. I'd love to say hello. For now though, it's heads down to work on what's coming in August, Part 2. See you soon, folks.